absolutely insane. After 2,500 years, we finally have answers to the long-awaited end-time prophecies. United by their shared passion for prophecy, Lowell Taylor and Timothy Thompson bring together over a century of wisdom. Many secrets are revealed here. Get ready to be amazed.
Hello, brothers and sisters. My name is Timothy Thompson, and I'm going to share with you about the coming war that has not happened yet, but it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen before it happens because it's in the book of Daniel. We just got done with a Iran and Turkey war pushing to the north, south, and the west. Daniel 8, verse 4. Now, what is next? It hasn't happened yet, but I know it's going to happen. Basically, it's like I'm looking at a newspaper. It's the Bible. It tells me what's going to happen because we're living in the end days. And Daniel saw our day. We are ready to go to war. The United States and Trump, we're going to war with Iran and Turkey. We are going to kill the leaders of Iran and Turkey. And I'm telling you this before it happens. And it's just something I'm going to point at exactly who Grisha is. In the Bible, I'm going to show you that Trump is in the scriptures. And I'm going to do that. And I'm going to share some of my information and what I've learned right after this.
A true story. Growing up in the 1960s and 70s, Timothy Thompson listened to his mother, Shirley, talk about the many inspiring end times prophecies. Have you ever noticed that many prophecies with specific dates have proven incorrect? It seems like we're trapped in a bunch of meaningless, pathetic information, doesn't it? How tragic. Finally, there is genuine hope. Decades later, in 2010, Timothy asks God a question. He wanted to know how close we are to the second coming of Jesus Christ. The events that followed answered his prayers, bestowing upon him wisdom and knowledge. Seriously, tons of prophecies are coming true right now, more than ever before. God's Timeline. Our videos explore a wide range of topics, including the rapture, the mark of the beast, earthquakes, and so much more. Timothy has many incredible secrets for those who will listen. Amazing. Listen to this. Every year from now on, we will see the fulfillment of multiple prophecies. The number of prophecies made thousands of years ago is rising as the anticipation of Christ's return grows closer. Our goal is to present the events to give you a clear understanding of how close we really are. Trust me on this. It's incredibly important. We embark on a journey to explore the unsolved mysteries and the works of God. We invite you to join us as we unearth hidden knowledge. It is because we care that we share.
Hello, brothers and sisters. Have you ever wondered if prophecy is really true? Because you heard so much false information about, oh, the Lord's coming this year. Oh, the world's going to end this year. Next year, oh, it's the same thing over and over again. And if you're like me, I was born in the 60s, early 60s, 62. You've seen a lot of that. You know, because a lot of people thought the year 2000 something would happen. Well, I got news for you. If you have knowledge and you understand, and as we get closer to the second coming, more and more is revealed to us for those who are studying. But there's a lot of people who, most people in the world are kind of on the blind side when it comes to prophecy. They're just kind of going about your own life and not worried about it. But there are those of us who really care and are trying to let others know. Well, there's one piece of prophecy that is about ready to happen. The United States will be going to war with Iran and Turkey. But soon after that war, the United States, sometime about the time that Trump leaves office, or however that is and however that happens, the United States is going to be divided into 4 territories with 4 different leaders. 4 different leaders. The United States is going to be divided into the North, South, East, and West. 4 different leaders. 4 different countries. I know I repeat myself over and over because I know it's going to happen. You can see the trouble in the United States here in 2025 in February, and you can see it for the past few years leading up to this. But I think it's a shame. The United States, how can you call it the United States anymore? It's divided. It's between good and evil. The news media has been lying to people for years and years and decades. And they got a segment of people who are brainwashed. They're brainwashed into believing that Trump's a bad person. Well, none of us are perfect, right? But you got the Republicans and you got the Democrats. They can't seem to come together. Most likely, I always look at it like, okay, there are people who believe in Jesus Christ, and there are people who don't believe in Jesus Christ. Well, that's really what it boils down to, because the only way to be saved, as John 3:16 says, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. So you got Satan in there. You got the news media. You got Hollywood. I'm not saying every single person now, so don't get me wrong. There are people who put out good movies, and there are people who have an agenda. It seems like the people who have an agenda are corrupting a lot of people, corrupting the young minds. In 1962, they took prayer out of schools. They took it out. There's a lady that did that, brought it to the court system, and they took it out. Talk about separation of church and state. It's not exactly what the forefathers had in mind, because in the 1800s, the Bible was the textbook. We're teaching that. How wonderful. Because everybody, I heard somebody say, we don't have a textbook. We don't have a textbook to go to our life. Yes, we do. It's called the Holy Bible. It's the Scriptures. It teaches us to love one another and to care for one another. So anyway, I wanted to share something with you, and this might be a little bit more on the lengthy side than I wish, but I'll try to get through it. Iran and Turkey started a war, and they pushed to the north, south, and west. And that was a prophecy that was fulfilled, and that was in Daniel chapter 8, verse 4. That prophecy happened in 2023, 2024. So what's next? Well, the next piece of prophecy in verse 5, the United States is going to go after Iran and Turkey and kill the leaders. That has not happened yet. And this video is February 2025. But it's shaping up. I know the headlines before it happens. And that's the whole point. I want this stuff to bring you closer to God, to pray. I tell you, it's never been a good time. There's been a good time, never been a better time right now to pray to God and to draw close to Him. But we don't want to be fakes, do we? We need to change our outlook, our love for one another, because that's the greatest commandment of all, is to love one another. And I know I'm spitting out a lot, and I'm very passionate about this, and I want so much to share with you what is going to happen. So the USA is going to go to war with Iran and Turkey. It definitely looks like, I put it at 2025, and this is 2025. Now, if it happens in 2026, well, I was off a few months. But it's shaping up. And where it's all right in front of us. The United States is going to become 4 territories. And so I'm going to read some stuff with you. It says, prophecy foretells a war involving the USA, Iran, and Turkey in 2025-2026. As stated in the timeline, Iran and Turkey are expected to engage in a war that will extend to the north, south, and west. Initially, the United States will take no action. Now remember, this article I wrote is actually an article I wrote a few years ago. And it's actually coming true right now. The book of Daniel prophesies that in 2025, the USA will go to war with Iran and Turkey, leading to the demise of their leaders. While the USA is involved in conflicts, internal issues arise, and the country is divided into 4 territories under separate leadership. This will happen while we are in a war with Iran and Turkey, or shortly thereafter. Like I said, I wrote this some time ago, so things change slightly, but the outcome is still the same. Let's explore scripture in more depth. While we go to war with Iran and Turkey, the United States will undergo a division into 4 territories in 2025 and 2026. And actually, that could be a little bit later. I think we go to war with Iran and Turkey, and we have victory. But not necessarily immediately does the United States be divided into 4 territories. It could be while we go to war, or it could be towards the end of while Trump is president, or however he leaves. Something will happen in the United States that we will be divided into 4 countries with 4 leaders. Considering I wrote this thing probably 5 years ago, we see what is happening. Something that's going to happen in the United States. Do you see the chaos that's going on in the United States in 2025? We see the problems. The world is divided. They're fighting against Trump. You know, they don't want to accept Trump. And Trump is trying to save the Constitution. And this is what I talk about being brainwashed. You know, the Democrats, a lot of the people who are losing their jobs because right now they're trying to cut down the expenses. We're trying to fight from keeping from going bankrupt. And the people who are losing their jobs are getting pissed off. And yet it has to be done. It's a lot of billions of dollars are going out to places. Money has been handed out for other people in the world. And the money belongs to the American people. That's the problem. But it says right here, we already see this taking place in the United States in the early 2020s. Daniel 8:5, Daniel 8:21. Daniel 8, Old Testament. Please be aware that the scriptures I've been referring to since 2010 actually took place in 2024. Daniel 8:4. Daniel 8:4, it says, I saw the ram and a turkey pushing westward and northward and southward, so that no beast might stand before him, neither was there that any could deliver him out of his hand. But he did according to his will and became great. Iran and Turkey are starting a war. They started that war. It happened. In Daniel 8:20, it says, the ram which I saw as having 2 horns are the kings of Media and Persia. Note that Persia today is Iran. In 1935, Persia changed their name to Iran, and it is a territory in the Middle East that covers Iran and Turkey today. In Daniel 8:5, and as I was considering, behold, a he-goat came from the west on the face of the whole earth, and touched not the ground, and the goat had a noticeable horn between his eyes. And the rough goat is the king of Grecia, and the great horn that is between his eyes is the first king. Well, let me tell you, that tells us what Daniel 8:21 tells us, that the rough goat is the king of Grecia. Well, Grecia is the United States. And a lot of people, their reaction is going to be, oh, that's Greece. No, it's not. It's the United States. So a lot of things tell us that it's the United States. First of all, the Grecia is a Statue of Liberty, Greece. You know, Daniel saw our day, he saw that. And we're also talks about the United States came from the west. The he-goat came from the west. The United States is in the west. It also talks about how Iran will be causing a lot of trouble with Grecia. They're not causing problems with Greece. They're causing problems with the United States. So all these things coming together, it shows us, and also because the things are happening. We're too far into this to say that Greece is Greece. It's obviously, we know, 100% the United States. And that opens up our eyes, doesn't it? Because now we can read Daniel and know that the United States is in there. The war looms, shifting everything. The USA will attack Iran and Turkey and will end up killing the leaders of Iran and Turkey. Khamenei and Aragon of Turkey. And Khamenei is Iran. Note, the rough goat, Trump, the great horn, or the horn stands for a leader, a king, or a president. So the horn is Donald Trump. Now, since Trump has already been president for 4 years, I believe Trump will be president for 2 terms. Okay, I wrote that. I was surprised because I wasn't 100% surprised, but I thought 2 terms meant back to back. So that all that did was give us an extra 4 years, but it gave us a little bit more time for the downfall of America and the division. But it also gave Trump an opportunity to make a plan to try to save the Constitution. Now, why in the world? You can tell what side you're on if you're on the right side. Trump walks into a church, he gives some money to help them out. He does a lot of good. You don't see it in the news media. All the people he's helped out. There's a lady that's been living in the Trump Tower and one of the hotels for years that Trump has been paying for 3 meals for her because she has been sick, unhealthy, and Trump had the heart to help her. You didn't see about this on YouTube. You had somebody that created a YouTube video that found out about it. And so there's a lot of good that Trump's doing. And Biden, when he was president, was doing a lot to take away our freedoms. And we end up getting into wars. So there you can see there's good and there's evil. And none of us are perfect, right? Trump he's doing what he can. God bless him. And for people who are blind, take off your blinders. See with your head, your brain. I guarantee for most people who are so caught up in hating Trump, don't have a relationship with Jesus Christ. It's like Israel. It's like we are supposed to love Israel, to pray for them, or pray for Christ's people. Because anybody who turns against Israel, any nation, that nation cannot stand. The United States turning away from Israel, the United States will fall. And in the past few years, that's exactly what's happening. Trump is president now, and we're trying to help Israel, but there's still a lot of division. The United States is about ready to become 4 territories. Well, depending on where you are and what part of the 4 countries that you are when the United States becomes 4 countries will depend on how safe you are. There'll be areas, but we see that. We see that the United States has not become 4 territories. But look at it. It's already divided. California's in their own little world. You know, the West Coast. And then you got the province of New York. That's another territory. I don't know how it's going to be divided, but I see it. And there's a couple other territories. I don't know where the safe zones are, but there'll be safe zones. And so now, since Trump has already been president for 4 years, I believe Trump will be president for 2 terms. Well, obviously it happened, and I have it here. I wrote it down before it happened. So consider the last 4 years under Biden's leadership, with nations disregarding the USA interest. I believe war is unlikely until Trump returns to the presidency. Tensions between the USA and Iran and Turkey will escalate into a blown-out war because of Iran and Turkey's action. Now, obviously, Biden caused war by being a poor leader. But I was saying the war with Iran and Turkey, that we wouldn't actually take action until Trump was president. Trump's not messing around. He's trying to save the United States, and he's trying to make a difference in the world. He doesn't want death. None of us want war. But we're going to get war. And I don't know how the United States is going to be divided, but it looks like it's going to be within. Whether another country causes a total division. We already have all the illegals in the United States by the millions, and we're trying to get them out. But it's rough right now in 2025. And at least I can turn on my TV or watch YouTube videos and do it from home. And there's certain areas that I wouldn't want to be in right now. I wouldn't want to be in California. I wouldn't want to be along the Mexican border. So there are problems. So Donald Trump is the great horn mentioned in Daniel 8, verse 21. The USA will be divided into 4 territories. As things progress without supporting Israel, no nation can survive, and signs of the USA impending downfall can already be seen in the early 2020s. Because I wrote this thing about 4 or 5 years ago, but I also added a couple little paragraphs in here that, gives it a little bit more updated. Here's how I believe it will play out. Iran and Turkey start a war and they push to the north, south, and west. That happened in 2024. Meanwhile, the USA, Donald Trump, I believe will become president and win the election in 2024. It happened. And you notice I corrected, I put happened. The United States will go to war with Iran and Turkey and will kill the leaders in 2025. And the United States will become 4 territories. This is in progress. This first part, us going to war with Iran and Turkey, is shaping up. Most likely it would happen in 2025. Could it drag out into 2026? Possible. But it just seems like 2025. And the United States will be divided into 4 territories, either while we are going to war or sometime before Trump leaves office. Or he's forced to leave office, or I hope he doesn't get killed. But somewhere along the line, we have chaos breaks out, and we're divided into 4 territories. Read this and learn that Grisha, he-goat, is the United States. The he-goat is Donald Trump, and Grisha is the United States. Grisha, he-goat, in Daniel represents the USA, and the book of Daniel is chapter 8 and 11. Daniel 8, verse 8, therefore the goat waxed very great, and when he was strong, the great horn was broken, and for it came up 4 noticeable ones towards the 4 winds of heaven. That is telling us the United States, we go to war, but then somewhere along the line, with the next year, 2, 3, up to 4 years, the United States becomes 4 countries. That's the scripture, Daniel 8:8. As things develop, it looks like the war within the USA, but I would not rule out an attack. November 17, 2023. Data released Monday by the House Judiciary Committee reveals that at least 3.8 illegal aliens have come into the United States. So, that, of course, that was in 2023, November, right? The numbers are much higher. The fiscal year 2024 ends with 3 million encounters, bringing a total of 10.8 million have come across the border. Well, this is nothing to play with. Grisha is the USA in the book of Daniel. The USA embodies every scripture. We should investigate this further. Daniel totally nailed it. The goat, Grisha, is the United States. So now we're going to cover a little bit more about exactly how the United States is Grisha. So this is the part I've been wanting to get to share with you. So let me prove that the United States is Grisha. which is also the he-goat represented in verse 5 and other verses in Daniel chapter 8. So what proof do I have that Grisha he-goat represents the United States? Besides the obvious, which is the location. Came from the west on the whole face of the earth. So the United States of America is in the west. That read Daniel 11 verses 2 and 3. And now I will show thee the truth. Behold, there shall stand up yet 3 kings in Persia, and the fourth shall be far richer than they all. And by his strength, through his riches, he shall stir up against the realm of Grisha. Grisha's in the west. The United States is Grisha. And a mighty king shall stand up, that shall rule with great dominion, and do according to his will. According to the scriptures, the United States is Grisha, and Iran's leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, is the 4th king. He will rise up against it. With current events, we know that Ayatollah Ali Khamenei is stirring up against the United States, which again is in the West, and has been a source of tension for the USA for years. So we know that the scriptures tell us that Khamenei is going to start problems with Grisha. Well, who have they been starting problems and tensions with? It's been with the United States. So yeah, prophecy fulfilled, and it continues. Daniel 11:3. And a mighty king shall stand up, and shall rule with great dominion, and do according to his will. In Daniel 11:4. And when he shall stand up, the king shall be broken, and he shall be divided to the 4 winds of heaven, and not to his prosperity, nor according to his dominion, which shall be ruled. For the kingdom shall be plucked up, and even others beside those. That's talking about that Iran is going to push to the north, south, and west. And the United States is going to go to war with Iran and Turkey. So that is what that scripture is talking about. They're going to rise up and start a war. We saw that happen in 2024. And they did it with victory. But in the end, they would, they fall. And verses 2 through 4, Iran, Ayatollah Khamenei, and Medea, Turkey, the leader of the Muslim world, Aragon, will push to the west, north, and south, as we read in Daniel 8, 3 through 5. Okay, so look at this. We read about the war in Iran and Turkey, Daniel 8, 4. But we also read a little bit about it in Daniel 11:3 and 11:4. So those 2 chapters are talking a little bit about the war and a little bit more about what's going on in a particular period of time. And yet it's all within a short amount of time. So Daniel 8:3, when I lifted up my eyes, and I saw, behold, there stood before the river a ram. The ram is Iran and Turkey, which had 2 horns, and the 2 horns were high, but one was higher than the other, and the higher came up last. Well, this is talking about Iran has always been the leader, and Turkey has always been the second leader. But because in 2016, Turkey became higher in status than Khamenei. And so that is why it says right here, when I lifted up my eyes and saw, behold, there stood before the river a ram which had 2 horns, and the 2 horns were high. One was higher than the other, Khamenei, and the higher came up last. So Aragon of Turkey became higher in status than Iran. Khamenei is flipped because the Turkey in 2016, there was a coup that took place. And now the leader of Turkey is the leader of the entire Muslim world. So that was prophecy fulfilled. So let's go on here. Let's move on. So let's keep it. Let's get back on track. The third reason we understand that Grecia is the United States. Let's face it, Daniel's vision, a dreamlike experience, revealed a hidden land that would emerge at the end of times. If you witnessed this vision, how would you describe previously undiscovered territory? Imagine you had never encountered this land, talking about the United States. You had it in a dream. How would you describe it? You see, it makes sense. Perfect sense. You would give the location. Now, according to Lowell Taylor, who wrote the book, The Prophetic Playbook Story, there is one powerful reason that Daniel called the United States Grecia. It is believed the Statue of Liberty is why Daniel called the United States Grecia. If we dig a little deeper, you find it makes sense. Many claim that France gave us the Statue of Liberty as a gift, and I have heard other stories, and frankly, I don't care. I care about finding the truth about Daniel and why he called Grecia, why he called the United States Grecia. And frankly, it makes more sense once you dig into the facts and do the research. So let us dig a little deeper and see where this takes us. We learn that the Statue of Liberty, Grecia, is a bronze statue erected by the harbor in the island of Lesbos in Greece. Okay? So, beginning in the work in 292, it took Charles of Lindles and his designers nearly 12 years to complete a 112-foot statue, and this was then erected by a 50-foot pedestal. The base was carved out of the white marble and joined to the cast of the feet of the ankles. The statue was believed to be dedicated to the Greek god of sun, Helios of Apollo, whose blessings were supposedly and driven force of Rhoda's victory over Osiris. It is easy to see why Daniel would describe the USA as Grecia. We can see that he saw the Statue of Liberty, which during that day represented and believed to be dedicated to the Greek god of sun, Helios, whose blessings were supposedly the driving force of Rhoda's victory, Cyrus. It's a statue. With all this evidence, Grecia is the United States that Daniel saw our day, and I'm not ever even mentioning the USA has all this military power, and it fits like a glove. It makes perfect sense considering modern day prophecies that are unfolding, and it fits like a glove. We understand things now, even as just 5 years ago that we did not understand, that we would have found difficult. If you studied, I am impressed that this is not an easy topic, but it is vital if you want the truth and to understand prophecy. The proof is that Grecia is the United States will be revealed in 2025. And that is when we actually go to war with Iran and Turkey, because that is the ultimate proof right there. And we see it shaping up. Anyway, I'm very grateful for your support, your eagerness to engage in the endeavors investigating these prophecies. So please take a look at my other videos. And this was a little rough. I was reading, and you're welcome to take a look at the text, to listen to the video again. And this is actually on my website, gtl.news. And it's under a timeline. If you go up here, you go to GTL chart, click on it, scroll down, and go on over to right up here, scroll to the right, and check out, click on 2025, and click on the article right here, the USA war with Iran and Turkey. Click on read more, and that is the article that I just shared with you. So take your time, read it, study it, watch my videos, I have a YouTube channel. I have a Rumble channel. But I have my own website. It's called GTLTube.com. So GTLTUBE.com. And I have a lot of information video that I created. And this is the video right here. But you can check out the video. And so I tell you, things are happening, brothers and sisters, and I wanted to share this with you. I apologize that it's a long video, but there was a lot of information here. Now you know that Grecia is the United States. Now read chapter 8 of Daniel and chapter 11. And when you read the he-goat, you know that the he-goat is Iran and Turkey today. And that Grecia is the United States. Read it. You'll find it really fascinating. I want you to see it for yourself. God bless you, brothers and sisters. Thank you. Please subscribe if you're on YouTube. And follow if you're on Rumble. And where I have the most amount of videos is GTLTube.com. I have videos on prophecies. I have movies that I'm adding. And I have Lowell Taylor, who's teaching prophecy. He has a website. I have some of his videos on the YouTube, well, not YouTube, but GTLTube.com website. Lowell Taylor's on there. God bless you, brothers and sisters. I love you. Let's draw close to Heavenly Father and Jesus Christ and get ready for the rapture, the first resurrection. And God bless you, and keep watching my videos. Subscribe. God bless you.